Hey everyone, I'm back in the kitchen baking as usual. Hope you all are doing well. Today we are all about nostalgia, that's what I'm about. And I hope that you are too, because sometimes when life gets complicated, nothing is better than just going back to something you loved as a kid or something you had growing up. So today, no digital recipes, no fancy phone videos teaching me how to do anything. I am using an old school, real handwritten recipe, which are probably my favorite thing to actually work from. So today we're going to make blueberry buckle. First thing people usually ask is, what is blueberry buckle? It's kind of tough to explain. I look at it as a cross between like a fruit crisp and a cake. It is fluffy and sweet and delicious. It has a streusel topping and pops of fruit, and obviously today we're doing blueberry, so you'll have that whole blueberry that you get to bite into, and it's delicious. So we're going to start out with 1/4 cup of butter and a cup of sugar in your mixer. Cream those together a little bit, and then we just need to add 1/2 cup of milk and an egg. I like to add the egg first. I just think it incorporates better, and then I add the milk slowly to that. Little trick: if you're not sure if your egg is hard-boiled or raw, the way that you can do that is by putting it on a flat surface and giving it a spin. If it has a wobble like that and it starts to slow down after about 5 seconds, this is not a hard-boiled egg. If it is hard-boiled, it will spin much longer and be almost perfect with no wobble at all. So that's just a little tip. I like to have both kinds of eggs in the house often because I love hard-boiled eggs. This way, in case I mix them up for some reason, I always know. So you want to crack your egg into your mixer here, and then just mix that on low long enough to incorporate it. So keeping your mixer on low, you can add 1/2 cup of milk, and I like to add that kind of slowly just to incorporate everything. And this will make a nice, creamy, kind of yellow butter consistency. And then this is it for your wet ingredients. It's a really easy recipe. It's not complicated, but it is delicious. Alright, so all of our milk's in the mixer here. Turn it up a little. It is going to be runny, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, these are all the wet ingredients. Alright, so then you have your dry ingredients next. Like I said, it's really easy. There's only 3 things in here. So 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. The salt is really important, and the first time I made this, I was like, I don't need that much salt, and I left it out, and I felt like it was missing something. The next time I made it, I did what I should have done the first time, and I followed it to the T. And you can taste the salt a little bit, but it's perfect with the fresh pop of the blueberry when you bite into it. It's really good. It's in there for a reason. So you can slowly add your dry ingredients. And this will come together pretty quickly. So this recipe is actually my grandmother's recipe. And unfortunately she passed away a few days ago. So I was thinking about her, and I was thinking, you know, what things I could do that would comfort me in this time. And I always loved her blueberry buckle. So when we would go to her house to visit, you know, in the summertime for the day, I always loved seeing she would put it right by the door on the counter, and it would be cooling, and you could smell it as soon as she opened the door. She always used fresh blueberries, and she'd make it a couple times a year, and she knew that it was my favorite. So for Christmas one year, I asked for a recipe book. And the really cool thing is that my family gave me a recipe book, but they all put a recipe into the book for me. Or they put a couple of things so that I would have like basics and know some things to make. So my one grandmother put in a pie crust recipe, which is the only one that I use. And my dad's grandmother, Betty, she put in this blueberry buckle recipe. And she knew how much I loved it. And like I said, I've been making it ever since. I think she in her life always stressed that it didn't have to be complicated, but if you did things simply with integrity, you could do them right. And I truly do believe she lived her life that way. Her and I shared a love for baking, but for music especially. She was an excellent organ player. And so her house was always full of music. I always liked to sit down when I didn't know how to play. But I loved listening to her, and she would always try to teach me a few things from the sheet music when I was younger, and we would be there at Christmas or other holidays. So just add in the rest of your dry ingredients. All right. Like I said, that is it for the batter, and it's not going to look like a lot, especially because we're putting it in a 13 by 9 pan. But trust me, it's exactly what you need. The other thing, the first time we made this, I was like, this is not enough batter. There's no way. But there is. It is going to be a very thick batter. That is exactly what you want. You have to trust that. Trust the process. All right, so you can take it out of your mixer here. I want to make sure you get all of it in the bowl. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add the fruit to it, the blueberries. Like I said, you could do this with other fruit. I just find it's most successful with blueberries. I think the size of the fruit and the flavor, like I said, it screams spring and summer to me. I personally always use fresh blueberries. You can use frozen blueberries. If you do, what you want to do is you want to put them in frozen. Do not thaw them first. If you thaw them first, and this is true with any fruit, frozen versus fresh, if you thaw them first, then when you mix them into your batter, you're going to get bleed. So your batter is going to turn out blue instead of that nice creamy white color with the blueberry mixed in. All right, so all of my batter is down here. Like I said, it's really thick. So it's going to be pretty stiff, almost like a cookie dough batter. That is okay. So I have 2 cups of blueberries here. Like I said, fresh blueberries. All I did was rinse them off and then let them dry out a little in the strainer. I did pat them with a paper towel, but you don't want to do that too much or you could burst them open, and dump those straight in. Getting off the extra moisture will help the batter stay together. And slowly fold these in. So around the edge of the bowl and cut through the center. You just want to gently incorporate them so that each bite of your blueberry buckle will have blueberries in it, the star of your show here. And you'll notice that the batter kind of loosens a little bit more because there's a little bit moisture from the blueberries, and it'll get a bit easier. You will get a little bit of bleed because it's impossible to not break 1 or 2 blueberries open, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to taste delicious. So grab your 13 by 9 pan. This is a dark nonstick, but I did spray it with a little bit of Pam. I just like to do that and make sure it doesn't stick, so that we get nice whole squares out. And I have my oven preheated to 350. So now we're just going to dump this batter in here. Oh, it smells good. Looking forward to it already. Pretty much everyone I have made blueberry buckle for loves it. It was one of the most requested things that I baked when I worked at the restaurant. My coworkers would be like, how much do you want me to give you if you would make me a whole pan? And my fellow castmates in community theater stuff that I do love it, and you can eat it year round. But of course it's best when that fruit is really fresh in June, July, and August. So you want to kind of work this into the corners It's okay if it doesn't meet every nook and cranny, because as it bakes, it will expand and it will fill the pan. We want to get it kind of close. And then we will put the topping on it and it'll be ready to go in. So the streusel topping that goes on over top is 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar, 1/3 cup of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 1/4 cup of butter. There we go. That you just want to put all that in a bowl. You can use your pastry cutter, or really if you don't have a pastry cutter, that's fine. You can use a fork, just break it up. You want your butter to be pea-sized. It doesn't have to be super cold. You certainly don't want to melt this butter though. This needs to be solid butter. Then with clean hands, go on in here and sprinkle this evenly over the top. I think this is what takes it really to another level. And it was always my favorite part of it when my grandma made it. It's pretty much the favorite part of it when my friends eat it. I had one of my friends say that they could just eat a bowl of whatever the streusel topping was made out of. It might seem like a lot, but you want to put it all over because all of that sugar will sink down in between the blueberries and the batter. It's going to be delicious. And then after this is ready to go in, it's going to go in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. You can cut that time down to about 20 minutes if you bake at 375, but just watch it. You don't want to overbake this. So we're going to go in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. When it comes out, you want to set it in the pan in another room, let it cool completely. And then once it's cool, I have added only one thing to my grandmother's recipe. I added a small drizzle of a lemon cream cheese icing on top. For that, you need 2.5 cups of powdered sugar, 8 ounces of cream cheese, the zest of 1 lemon, make sure you wash the lemon first, the juice of 1 lemon, and 1 tablespoon of heavy cream. You could use milk if you wanted to, it doesn't have to be heavy cream. You're gonna beat that all together. And then once it's completely cool, you can drizzle the icing over top. I like to do it in a zigzag and kind of create like a hash pattern, and then pop that pan in the fridge, let it sit for at least 1.5 hours to 2 hours, take it out, and then I cut those into squares. These travel incredibly well if you're going to a family reunion, or if you are visiting friends, if you need something for a big group of people, or maybe you're hosting an event. They're easy to make, they don't take that long, and everyone loves them. It's like blueberry cake and pie and crisp, all in one delicious pan. So, being nostalgic, I would love to hear some of your favorite family recipes, baking or cooking, or your favorite times that you've spent with loved ones in the kitchen. Please add those to the comments below, or you can add them to my Facebook page, which I will attach a link in the description as well. And I'll send you a finished product of the delicious blueberry buckle. Until next time, have fun baking, everyone.